Thanks for the explanation.
Here. Okay. This morning's report is fairly lengthy narrative. It serves a couple purposes. One, to inform the board and the public about what's going on, and two, I'm trying to assist the FEMA consultants in getting the public word out on some of these things so that we are participants and assistants in them to get this EA done, as Will said, get it done as efficiently and as effectively as possible. So I have a lot more narrative here that I might otherwise have, but I think it's important to get into the record. So, first thing is Alligator Point Road update. On Thursday, July 13th, FEMA held a kickoff meeting on Alligator Point to begin the environmental assessment process. Attendees included Mr. Will Kendrick, representing Congressman Neil Dunn, and approximately 10 state and federal representatives were also there with the consultants, and Clay Kenny and I represented the county. The following things were announced or decided during the meeting. FEMA has obligated $45,000 for repairs to the west end of Alligator Drive and the damaged section of Chip Morrison. So those repairs can begin without waiting for the EA to be completed on the east end. So that is, let's see, where's the, what am I doing here?
Yeah, just click it.
Oh, I gotta hold it, okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. So,
Tony Howard.
I'm having, oh, there we are, okay, very faint, okay. So this section right here will be, it's $45,000, and if you all are familiar with Alligator Point, it's just some, one lane of traffic at the Lime Rock base, and the asphalt needs to be repaired in that section, so it's fairly minor as far as cost, but it's fairly significant as far as traffic flow goes to get people back in and out. So that part, we hope to get started. I'm going to talk to Pam about maybe doing it in conjunction with the St. George Island boat ramp repairs, have one bid, because it's both asphalt work, and try and get that all done at one time. All right, so that's item number one. Item number two, FEMA has agreed to reimburse the county for traffic signals from the time they were installed until a contractor becomes responsible for repairing the road, at which time the contractor will control the flow of traffic. The county will have to continue to pay for the signals until federal funds have been obligated, but FEMA will reimburse the county for the federal share of the cost, which is 75%. Unless the governor approves the county's waiver of local share, unless the governor approves that waiver, the county will have a 12.5% share of all costs associated with repairing the road, including the traffic signals. And just to give you an idea right now, the traffic signals are $4,500 a month. So if we only have to pay 12.5%, it's somewhere around $500 a month, $600 a month. So we really appreciate FEMA stepping up and paying for the bulk of this, and we hope the governor comes in and pays for everything, but we're still waiting on that issue. Number three, FEMA staff will seek authorization from their higher-ups to allow the county to begin the design process and seeking a permit from DEP for repairs to the road during the time the EA is being completed. Previously, I had told the board that without FEMA approval, the county could not begin the DEP permitting process. But now it looks like FEMA will provide the funds to start the design permitting process. I appreciate Will and Representative Dunn, encouraging the federal agencies to be more proactive in this thing. So it looks like they're going to provide us some money. If that becomes possible, then it will shorten the timeline significantly to getting the repairs to the road started. At this time, FEMA is estimating the EA will be completed by February, March of 2018. And if we can begin the permitting process now, it is possible that by the time the EA is complete, the county will have its DEP permit. So that it's possible that we could have a contractor selected before the start of the 2018 hurricane season. The repairs of the road will certainly not be completed by the start of the 2018 hurricane season, but we hope a contractor would be mobilized so that if there is additional damages to the road from some future storm, at least a contractor would be in place and we'd be able to try and respond quickly. So this 2018 hurricane season, it looks like we might be getting there as opposed to what I told previously would be after 2018 hurricane season. So this is really a big jump if we can get this all pulled together. And that would be a great asset for everybody out there at Point. But in order to approve this, in order for the above timeline to work, it is desired of everyone to get the road repaired as quickly as possible. Then the preferred option of repairing the road will be, so that all that to occur, the preferred option of repairing the road will be the option I presented to the board some months ago, and is the option that I described at an AFTA meeting some months ago. The road will be repaired with a vertical sheet pile along the wall, a concrete cap between the sheet pile and the asphalt road, and then a concrete shoulder on the north side. The whole road structure would have an impervious surface to protect it from a hurricane surge from getting under or behind the road and pulling the sand out, which is what causes the road to collapse. The concept of a bridge was discarded at the meeting because of the difficulties in design and because of the limitation on the extent of the damage. In order for a bridge to be successful, it needs to span the entire area that is subject to future erosion. And FEMA cannot pay for improvements/repairs to a road that has not yet been damaged. I stated at the meeting that there is another section of road east of the current damaged area that I believe will be damaged, but no one knows when that will happen, and FEMA funds are not allowed to be used to repair or alter something that has not yet been damaged. So, the preferred option for the EA will be a revetment structure. The EA is required to discuss other options, including doing nothing. This is a requirement. The public should not be alarmed when the EA discusses these other options. The critical thing for the public to follow is the comments and reactions to the preferred option, which is the option we are seeking funds for. The issue of beach renourishment project on Alligator Point will be mentioned in the EA, but FEMA will not be participating in any cost share, nor is a beach renourishment project a requirement of FEMA. Any decision related to beach renourishment will be a decision between the board and the Alligator Point community and will not involve FEMA. While I believe a beach renourishment project has merit protecting road, I realize and accept that there is a great deal of dissension on how it should be funded. As our board heard from the Apton representative several meetings ago, they are looking at the feasibility of a toll being imposed in the event they want to support beach renourishment for the road. There is a great deal of work to be done before Apton can make a realistic presentation on how that would work and the amount of revenue it would generate. So at this time, I believe we should not pursue beach renourishment until the issue of maintenance funding is resolved. For the benefits of the residents in the area, I want to inform them of a series of letters they will receive over time. As of July 7th, FEMA consultant sent letters to, and it's not 560, it's about 480, I was correct this morning, 480 property owners to the west of the damaged area. This letter advised them that FEMA would be completing an EA assessment, and it gives them some contact information if they want more information. I'll be providing periodic updates to the board and the public regarding the EA, so that the FEMA consultants can focus on completing the EA in a timely fashion and not be the only source of public information. So this first letter that went out informs the residents of the beginning of the EA. If there are any questions regarding the EA, residents can call me, as my name and number on the FEMA letter anyway. So that was really the summary of what took 6 hours in Alligator Point. And I appreciate Will being there. His presence as representing the federal, the elected officials on the federal level, I think was encouraging for us as well as for the agencies to get involved and make some decisions. So I really think that we are going to be able to get this done faster than I had previously said, and that's all good news. I've stopped now if there's any questions about this. This is something I've been over with Eddie Sosby as Apton president. There's really nothing changed now, unless Eddie wants to make some comments.
All right, I'll say good morning. My name is Eddie Sosby, and I represent the Alligator Point St. Teresa Association. It's just an exciting morning to be here with all the positive things going on, but I do, in the news that Alan's brought forth to you this morning, too, is positive. I do want to let you know that the association board passed a motion at our last meeting to reinforce what we had presented to you previously, that we support the program that Alan presented to us back in May, the beach restoration proposal, and to let you know that we're willing to try and work to research funding options necessary to carry out future beach maintenance, and that motion was adopted without any kind of objection. We want to be able to work in partnership with you in that process, though, because it's not a thing where we have all the answers to all the questions, nor do we expect the county to have all the answers to all the questions, but we need to work in partnership with you as we explore this. It is important for me to present to you that there is considerable objection among the board and the association members and the citizens in the area to the property owners being taxed to provide maintenance funds. Our tax dollars have been and are used to support countywide programs in other areas, including the hospital, and the question always comes up, why now should we, the property owners, be expected to pay for maintenance of the county road protection works? Somewhat of a rhetorical question, but that's what I hear a lot. The association has and is currently working on researching funding options necessary to fund this estimated $250,000 a year maintenance requirement should this beach renourishment project be pushed forward. And if you allow me, I'd like to offer just a few points on what we found. Our working group working on this has met and has discussed a variety of options, but we keep coming back to a toll pass system to try and raise maintenance funding. Just some ideas on some costs of some of the requirements For a system like this, it's estimated that a gantry to monitor traffic would cost around $200,000. Really, before we can move much farther with any kind of investigation, we need to arrange for some sort of traffic survey to get some estimate of the amount of toll revenue that could possibly be collected based on traffic counts and visitor use. Other anticipated costs, with no estimates, big things like management costs to a service provider such as the Turnpike Authority to manage a system like this, utility and infrastructure maintenance, there's just a host of other potential charges. One thing that we identified, or our working group identified as an opportunity to generate some revenue would be to centralize all the visitor parking that we experience at Alligator Point now in these remote, not remote, but these separate crossover parking lots that we have on right-of-ways, centralize those to any consolidated central parking lots that may be a part of that renourishment project. We've discovered that there is a potential challenge to implementing a toll pass system, and our preliminary research reveals that Florida DOT, by law or by regulation, which we haven't completely been able to determine yet, does not allow implementing tolls on existing roadway development, and we're researching this to determine how it might apply in this situation. There are many other questions, and just as an example, where do we start to toll? If we were to implement a tolling system, where would that start? Would it start off with the turnoff on 98, maybe down to before the turnoff to the Ball Point Road, or even beyond? That's going to be a big impact on that area. Or it's a question about, where that will need to be. What would be reasonable and acceptable toll charges per trip? Would a fee system be established to allow property owners and frequent users of Alligator Drive to purchase annual passes? There's a lot of different things like that, but I do think it's important that we look at the long-term environmental impacts of using the sacrificial beach protection works. What would that impact be on features like the entrance to Alligator Harbor? What will the accelerating erosion and accretion of sand do in other areas? What kind of impact would it have on the aquaculture activities in Alligator Harbor and other questions that we really just don't have answers for, haven't identified yet. And as I've talked with Alan a little bit, I'm interested to know if there are other engineering solutions that we might consider that might not have this prolonged and protracted obligation or requirement for maintenance funding. As I mentioned in a report, the hurricane evacuation route and beach management study back in 2001, they identified an option as using T-ones in sand fill, which may have some maintenance costs, but it might not be as high as others. So I think we need to explore those kind of options as well. The public's hungry for information on these projects, and I've struggled with the fact that we're getting the two projects combined here. The FEMA road repair project, and the public wants to blend that in with this beach restoration project, and it's really been a challenge to try and help keep those two projects separate in the public's eye.
I'd like to say, let me say for the sake of the board and for myself, from now on, we're not going to talk about future nurses. There's only one project out there. It's a road revetment.
I'm sorry.
There's only going to be one project being discussed right now, which is the road revetment, because the future nursing project is going to be off to the side.
Okay.
You all may be looking at funding mechanisms, but we're not going to, at this level, as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to talk about beach nursing anymore. The only project we're going to talk about is the FEMA funded road.
Okay, and that's good, and that's great, that helps, but, I felt like I needed to update.
Yes, I understand.
And that's the process, that's what I'm trying to do, update you on what we've done relative to that renourishment project, without committing myself to do so. Okay. All right, and that's pretty well it on that. But the pressing need right now, and one I really want to emphasize is, even with no storm damage, right now, this temporary road is a challenge. The road department guys are doing a great job, and they're really doing the best they can, I know, trying with their other duties, but we desperately need some sort of asphalt surfacing, or maybe a compacted application of asphalt buildings or something to stabilize that sand. That sand you know, the wind and a little traffic on it in a day or two, it washboards out, then you put some rain on it, and we wind up with potholes in the middle of the washboard. So it's really challenging, and Alan spoke to the fact that when that does occur, that the traffic slows and it complicates the traffic signaling and provides some unique challenges there. So all this having said, I appreciate you enduring me this, or allowing me this time to speak to you, but I want to thank the Board of Commissioners. Y'all have done, I feel like you've done a lot, and you helped us, and you were quick in response to Hurricane Hermine damages. I really specifically thank Commissioner Sanders for everything she's done and her dedication and her work, and I also want to communicate to Commissioner Sanders, I appreciate your helping and getting Congressman Dunn engaged on it, and I appreciate Congressman Dunn and his representative, Will Hendricks, the work that they're doing. I think that's done a lot to help emphasize to FEMA that we've got a priority project right here that needs attention. And I think without that, I'd still be up here crying the blues of not having that program started off in the FEMA office. So there's some more positive to add to this in that I think it's been some good work. I know y'all often hear the frustrations of the community, but you don't always hear the accolades that maybe did come your way. So I thank you for your time. Subject to any questions, anything else on my remarks, that concludes my remarks.
Any comments from the board?
I just got a few, just a couple of them, because I know we're on a time restraint here. I didn't get Congressman Dunn to do that. They saw it as a problem, and they did it, so that's good, that's good. As far as the asphalt road, I can't tell you when there'll be asphalt down there.
Okay.
I can't tell you when there'll be milled asphalt down there. They're in the middle of the storm season, so, you know, I can't tell you that. I'm just being up front with you.
Okay.
And that's it. I mean, y'all may have to drive over 1,100 foot, am I right? Of dirt road for a little while longer. But I can assure you, the dirt washes off, you know, and not being no fun about it. But, I mean, we just don't have no alternatives here. We've got a right-of-way that we don't really have all the right-of-way. I mean, we even do what we need to do.
We got to build asphalt completely.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
have none.
We don't have any. So, I mean, that's the thing about it. I appreciate the support that I have somewhat gotten from Alligator Point in the past. But, and I don't do it whether I have support there or not. I do it because y'all need some help, you know. And the thing about it is we're gonna do what we can do for Alligator Point Road, but what people need to understand is we just had the kickoff meeting with FEMA last week. And usually, Mr. Eddie, you know because you've worked with FEMA, usually when you have a kickoff meeting, it's about no longer than a month after the storm event. You're looking at almost a year.
I understand.
See, so I mean, just give us a little bit. We're gonna hopefully catch up, but it's all gonna clinch on the environmental assessment. And the environmental assessment can take up to next March.
It can even take longer. Gulf Shore Boulevard is an example.
Well,
It's a much smaller
yeah, that's what I was
project. It's
thinking.
taken a year,
Look how long Gulf Shore Boulevard took.
7 blocks.
And we catch it from other people about that little 1,100 foot strip, and some of them drive a mile, 2 miles down the dirt road, and we hit it at all angles.
So, I mean, we're doing good to have the road department go down there every week, you know, or they tell me twice, sometimes 2, 3 times a week. But anyway, we will get there. The problems here, I can tell you, sometimes I think is greater than when I came on board in 1998 with Alligator Point Road. I had a vision 20 years ago that we would solve the problem of Alligator Point. But Mother Nature has her own mind. God and Mother Nature has their own mind. And ain't no federal government, ain't no state government, and there's not no local government can help that. That's just something.
And we got a
So-
storm headed up towards the
We don't
Caribbean.
have no storm. But we don't have no
Well, it
storm.
might not be since you got there.
But you see how I'm doing, I'm thinking,
I do
Okay.
too, but we got.
But thank you, Mr. Eddie, for your comments, and relay that to the Alligator Point folks.
I will do that. If you will tolerate me just one more minute here, and I recognize exactly what you said about that kickoff meeting, but I firmly believe, had there not been some engagement by Congressman Dunn, and I'm not saying.
But I don't want nobody to say that I'm responsible
And I
for it, because
recognize
it's
that,
not
and I
Congressman
apologize if
Dunn.
that came across wrong, but I do think that's kind of helped expedite this. And the good news that I've heard to me is the fact that there's a chance that we can run this permitting and plans and specs process concurrent with the EA. And if we can
Yeah,
do
if
that,
we can do that- If we can do that, then we'll be ready to hit the ground when that gets
right.
done.
It's not as good a news as two state championship youth league sports teams, but it's pretty good news.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Item two, inform the board that the $300,000 historic preservation grant for the sprinkler system for the Armory the board submitted last year was not funded. The board needs to consider options for funding a sprinkler system, as at some point the state fire marshal has the authority to reduce the occupancy levels in the Armory such that it cannot be used for large events until a sprinkler system is installed. I understand that the TDC has some unallocated revenue, so I've asked Mark to investigate if the sprinkler system can be installed in phases, or is it going to require all or more than $300,000? I would encourage the board to consider the TDC funding, as it is the most immediate funding we have available. Another option would be restore funds, but for a discussion that I'll get to next, restore funds may not be available for a while. So I don't know if you want me to do the restore discussion next? Keep on going? Okay. All right, so number three, the MYIP stands for Multi-Year Implementation Plan. That's the document that we have to create and submit to Treasury, and Treasury has to approve it before we never spend restore money. As the board remembers, on July, we had an application period for 2 months, and on July 15th, the application for projects to be included in the first phase of the MYIP closed. 6 projects were submitted seeking a total funding of $6.5 million, and on the last page here, I show you the projects that were submitted. Runway project for the runway, it's the runway that's not funded by state and federal funds. It's the north-south runway. And you see the range of money that could be spent on that. Lighthouse Estate Septic Tank Program is a project submitted by the city of Carabel. Franklin County Fire Station project is a FAMU, it's a business incubator project. Then I did put $200,000 in there because over the time of the MYP, you're going to have additional revisions. So I wanted to set aside some money to pay somebody to do those revisions, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 revisions, and, because your money's coming in over 15 years, so I set some money aside for somebody. Number 5, the Port of Apalachicola, said by the city of Apalachicola, is phase 1 of 3, is $1.1 million, and then at this time, or at that time when this thing closed, we had $4 million in for alligator beach renourishment. Well, let me go to my narrative that's right below that. I recommend the board pause in the development of the MYIP for 6 months or until January 15, 2018. I believe the board needs to let FEMA get further into the EA project on Alligator Point and to give some additional time for the governor's office to decide if it's going to fund the waiver of the county share of FEMA funds. If the governor's office does not fund the waiver, then the county will need to come up with some $400,000 to $500,000 of local dollars to pay our required 12.5% match for FEMA funds. And if you have a $3.5 million project on Alligator Point, which we're estimating, it's going to be between $400,000 and $500,000 that will be our local match. I had previously thought, and I told you all, that we would have to utilize the Ballpoint Trust Fund. And if we did, it would completely deplete those funds and wipe it out forever. But I have since learned that restore funds can be used as a local match for FEMA projects. A 6-month pause would also give APTA time to research the feasibility of a toll system. If they are successful in developing a method for paying for a beach renourishment project through a toll user fee, then it is possible the community will want to move forward with the beach renourishment project. By pausing, none of the existing projects would be ranked or reviewed. Then in January, the board can consider where everything stands, and at that time make a decision on what to delete and whether to reopen the application process. If we did reopen the application period for a short period of time, other applicants would be entitled to submit or amend projects as well as the county. The board could potentially decide to submit $500,000 for FEMA cost share at that time, or perhaps we would have to submit for our Armory sprinkler systems. Other ideas might come up in the meantime. So I'm asking you all to consider pausing the development of MYIP for 6 months to let all this stuff percolate out. And then the problem is moving forward with MYIP, if we submit as we have now, and then we want to change things, one, I'm going to have Treasury reviewing something that then we're going to ask them to change, and that's going to get Treasury all confused. So I just assume not submit things until we're ready that this is what we want to do.
Pleasure of the board.
I make a motion that we, pause on the NYIT.
Have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
We also said that the city fair project also might change because I understand everybody's gonna get additional money, so that may, they're fine. I think all these projects are separate.
And just to add something to it, down there at the conference, I got to speak with Brian King and the state emergency medical, I mean, the state emergency, director from the state of Florida, and he said that the governor was considering the waiver.
Okay, well, good. I'd love for it to happen, just for no comment.
He said it.
Okay, great.
Might need to touch base with Brian again.
Okay.
Yeah, just fine, because she was meeting with him, but I got a chance to meet him, so
Okay.
it was meeting, but it was different one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it is what he said.
Okay. All right, we'll try and get a hold of them then. Number 4, consortium update. As Commissioner Sanders can attest, the consortium's consultants are slowly putting together the state expenditure plan. One of Franklin County's projects in the SEP is a large-scale Apalachicola Bay oyster recovery project, which I've asked the consortium consultants to assist in developing, as they have a better grasp of what the governor will support in the SEP and on how other state agencies might participate in an oyster recovery project. I asked the consultants to seek possible partners and additional funds for the oyster industry. To that end, the consultants advised me Friday that they have requested $5 million from the Gulf Environmental Benefit Fund, which is also a BP source, as additional funding for an Apalachicola Bay oyster recovery project. And attached to my application, I believe Michael got into your packet, is their application for $5 million. So we have that in the top also. I believe the timeline for the consultants to complete the SEP is November, as they want to get the SEP in front of the governor in January. And that's my understanding, and Commissioner Sanders may have a different timeline, but I think that's where they're headed.
That's around fine.
Okay. And then the last thing for you all, finally, you're going to see an ad in the paper for local contractors to bid on the Island View project. So that's finally moving forward. So when you see an ad, we're not going to be open to bids because the county's not paying any money into this thing. It's running by this Nation Conservancy. So the bids, even though they're for a project here in Apalachicola or sort of in Franklin County, are going to go to an engineering firm in Panama City who will review the bids, but they're paying for it all. But the project will be here. As soon as I get the results, I'll give you all the results of those. And that is my report.
Board have anything for Alan?
Yeah. On that armor deal, we don't have to, move on it, they gonna, you know, without a sprinkler system, I shut that thing out.
Well, I don't.
We don't have to.
Yes, sir. Mr. Blair's not here today, so I don't know if you, when he's here next meeting, y'all can talk to him then about that.
Yeah, we invested too much money into the armory and we have reservations. I mean, people just love the air conditioning commission.
Oh, I know.
We've got some reservations both of us. I mean,
But we got to have a sprinkler system. You don't have a sprinkler system, and you can't have that many people in that building without a sprinkler system.
That's right.
Alan, why don't we, I think this is part of somebody's report here. We need to have somebody give us some, we need to go out for bids on that, just to see what it is. And it may be, if we got all these reservations he's talking about, it may be we need to take out a loan or something, to put that sprinkler system in there and use these dollars to repay that loan from all these reservations that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Or partial, we can get some help from TDC, we may have to do something different in order to get this ball moving. But we don't even know what we need. So we need to, I'd like the board to make a motion that we get direct staff to go out and get some bids on this sprinkler system and see how much money it's gonna cost to get it done.
Okay.
Request for proposals.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go out for request for proposals for the sprinkler system for the armor.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Um,
All opposed? Motion carries.